Thanks, Barry.
It's 5:30. We're going to call the meeting to order. Would you please stand and salute the United States flag? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Daryl, would you lead us in a prayer?
Sure. Dear Lord, we shower you with all of our thoughts and gratefulness for what you've done for our school district and for each person here tonight. We give you all honor and glory that's due you, and we ask that you continue to bless and prosper this community and this school district. Be with the school board tonight as they deliberate and help them to make wise decisions. And again, Father, we praise you, we love you, and we depend on you every day of our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Anyone here? I see no one here for public comments, so we'll go to information items. Notice of meeting to adopt budget and tax rates.
Okay, so in your board book, you have a notice of public meeting to discuss budget and proposed tax rate. This is a 2-page document. This is the document that will be published in the Gatesville paper on Saturday, the 10th, I think it is, August 10th. And this is dealing with the big meeting that will take place at the end of August on the 27th, where we approve the budget, approve the tax rate, and all that good stuff. So this is right here is just a public notice. This has actually been prepared by Justin Carruthers in cooperation with my efforts, and I appreciate all Justin's done. They have a new office, by the way. It's over next to the bank building, and it looks really nice. They're very proud of it. So this is an information item only. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me any questions about this notice. The rate that we're going to be proposing is 0.6969 for the M&O and 0.20 for INS. The M&O is just slightly smaller than last year's number. The INS number remains the same.
Any questions? All right. Okay, certified 24 property taxable value release.
Okay, we received the Coryell County early on, actually late June, on the certified values, and it took nearly the end of July for us to get the ones from Bell, even though they're a smaller group, as you can see on the Board of Trustees agenda item information.
Oh, Nicholas, I'm really...
Sorry. Race. Sorry. My son. Sorry.
So, as you'll see, the certified values have gone up from 1.208 billion to 1.265. That's the certified values. It's about 4.67% increase. A total of 56 of them, and some change $1 million. So it wasn't a large increase from last year on the certified values. And you have a complete document from Coryell. This is almost 20 pages worth. So it's a lot of data. You'll see some things that say ARB, which is the Appraisal Review Board. And you'll see sometimes it says totals, ARB totals. Sometimes it'll say grand total on some of these sheets. The grand total will be the RB with the regular. The RBs are the ones that, for some reason or another, that are being disputed and are contested, and they're working their way out of that. But anyway, it's a lot of data. Some of these pages, they'll break down the taxable values by grouping, like single-family residences and farmland, industrial property. So they give you a lot of breakout, a lot of good information that's available to you. I know I spoke with Mitch today, and the ag values, you'll be able to see, are significantly below their market values. Let's see, where was that? I saw that. Yeah, because the ag gives a much lower rate. I can't pull it up from up here. Which is one of these pages. Of course, the homestead exemption has been growing as the state has increased that. And you'll see on the vital signs this month at our regular August meeting, that the value of the freeze part has been growing over the years as the homestead exemption has increased. Any questions about the certified values? It is what it is. Not a big change.
Any other questions? We appreciate all your hard work in putting this together.
Well, you're welcome. So that's certified property taxable values, information item only. So I'll come back up when it's next my turn.
All right, now we're going to go to student handbooks.
Exciting stuff.
Exciting stuff. Last month, you guys adopted the Code of Conduct, which is an action item. Handbooks are an information item because we want to be transparent and have feedback and input on what goes into them, but it's not an action item to be approved. So this is just a review. Mackenzie, I think, put it in the packet and printed a packet for everyone. It was not a legislative year, so there was not a whole lot of substantial changes from the state to go in there. They always make just enough changes to make it really hard to update on the editor. So you have to go through everything, the whole thing, to make sure they changed the wording in this paragraph. But there really weren't any major state changes. We added things on our end, like the NHS adjustment that we made last fall on the requirement. We didn't really make any major substantial updates either. Everything you should be in the loop on. Behavior component from ValSal used to be in there. We removed things like that. I can answer specific questions if you have one, and I can tell you if it was been updated or if it stayed the same. However you guys want to review this, I'm happy to accommodate.
What do we do with the policy, way it used to read that if a Val or Sal was put in DAEP within their senior year or whatever, they could not represent?
I can look that up. It should be, if you look at the high school, it should be around page 38 in there. I can look it up real quick on here too.
So Charles, we consulted with the lawyer.
Yeah.
And, they said that, yeah, you can't, an academic award like that, you can't negate it because they had been to DAP at some point in their high school career. The only caveat to that would be is if they are in DAP the last day of school, they would give the speech then because they were in DAP. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the gist of it, is that we updated it to take that wording out, to say that the DAP placement does not inhibit that.
There were no controversial dress code changes or anything like that. The vaping question, we did add that thing that we alluded to last time, that if instead of getting the 45-day sentence, if you were cooperative with the assistant principal and said, yes, I've got a vape, and you're doing well in DAP, that they would review it at 30 days, and then would be able to shave 15 days off of it. So.
How is being cooperative going to be analyzed? Like, who's going to make that decision? And how is one kid going to say, well, Joe Blow got out of here 15 days early, why can't I get out?
Well,
is it just going to be monitored day by day, and is it going to be like kept track of it, or how are they going to do that?
At the DAP, they keep every day as they're accounted for. They earn a certain amount of points based on what they did, and did they behave and act right and do work on the program. So that's easy. The initial investigation, I think, being cooperative would be things like admission of guilt, handing it over, as opposed to, no, I didn't do that.
Hiding it beside the principal's desk when they're
Hiding
questioning you,
it.
they look away,
Throwing it somewhere.
and then you find it later.
I can see arguments coming from the kids when they realize that someone else got out early, then they're gonna go, hey, why didn't I get out early? I did that. But if you don't have any record of it, so it's just a thought.
And I think it would be easy to show them when they don't get credit for the day or 2 days in DAP because they were acting out, or they didn't come, or they slept or tried to sleep.
So there is a system in place to monitor that, or to say this is this and that's that.
It's pretty objective.
You made it and you didn't.
That's right.
Period.
It's pretty black and white. Yeah. And other than that, I think that was all anything of any real note.
Yeah, there wasn't any. I had my list of the documents that we shared with everybody to kind of go through it. Update our AI policy, which is always ever evolving, and how students use AI and teachers use AI. Just kind of make sure we stay on top of that. Some clarification on our upper level grading. That was really kind of about it.
Any further discussion? Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
And I'm gonna sneak out. I've got to meet the teacher tonight with my freshman daughter.
Oh, how cool.
Meet all her teachers. My older daughter said, I'm not going to meet the teacher. I know all my teachers. But my freshman's excited.
Now, items we vote on: extracurricular status of 4-H organization, resolution, appoint adjunct faculty.
This is one we do every year at this time of year when we approve the 3 4-H agents. It's Becky Coward, Robert Ferguson, and Donna Schwausch, and they have been doing it a long time, 4-H, and so we consider them like teachers when our students go and do 4-H activities. And so that allows the students to be considered in attendance when they're doing those things, which is helpful for us when they're on off-campus activities. And all 3 of those guys are highly educated. They hold master's degrees, and so we feel comfortable, as always, approving them to be adjunct faculty. So my recommendation is that the board approve the resolution allowing 4-H to be considered an extracurricular activity, as well as approve the 3 Coryell County Extension staff be considered adjunct faculty with GISD.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Linda, second Charles. All in favor? Okay, campus attendance snapshot times.
One other housekeeping item that we do every year. Each school day, our teachers take attendance, as y'all know, and but they all take it at a little bit different time, and these are pretty strategic. The campus principals work with the campus secretaries, and they try to find the sweet spot of each day when they think they can capture the most kids in attendance. And so it doesn't have to be consistent across the campuses, and as you can see, they're all in the general 9 to 10 a.m. vicinity, but they're not quite exactly the same. And again, this is an important task because it relates to funding, and like we said, the staff work together to find a good spot, and All these times are the same as they were last year. So I recommend that the board approve the daily campus attendance snapshot times as presented.
Do I hear a motion? Calvin, any further discussions?
Excuse me, Barrett, it doesn't have to be done at that exact time. It's designated for that, but if something like, it's not a big deal if it's 9:15 instead of 9 o'clock.
They try to get it
wondered
as
about that.
closely as they can, but yeah.
There's not a detriment to.
Right, there's
doing it a
a
little
human
bit.
element involved in them, and oftentimes if you're on a campus, you'll hear this, someone come over the loudspeaker, teachers, reminder, take your attendance,
Yeah.
And so,
But I remember TEA, they're pretty particular about
yeah.
it.
So
I
you
mean-
do, you
I mean, you gotta be just right,
You shoot for
real
that
close.
time.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
go for that time, but yeah, okay.
What
Always
was
wondered.
our percentage attendance this last year?
I think overall it was 94 point something, so.
There it was, I think.
It gets a little better every year after COVID. Keeps trying to climb back to where it was. So I recommend that the board approve those daily campus attendance times as presented.
All right, we have a motion by Calvin. Do I hear a second? Okay, Charles. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Cafeteria meals.
Okay, I've got a couple things here that I'm going to present to you. I'll start by talking about the meal prices. Meal prices are governed by TDA. They have certain criteria that they force you to use. And I have the histogram chart showing you the rates on our meals all the way back to 2004, 2005. We highlighted the years there in green, which shows those are the years that there was an increase. So this year for 24-25, we are mandated to go up 10 cents on kids' meals and a little bit more on the adult meals. Those are also regulated by TDA. You'll see that breakfast, for instance, is $1.70 at the lower levels, and both all schools are $1.70 for breakfast. The adults is $3.10, and the lunch is $2.60. Lower levels a little bit smaller than the upper grades. Upper grades currently are $2.85, and it's going to go up 10 cents to $2.95. So we're going to have you approve a 10-cent increase in the price of the meals. I've given you charts, which I always do, showing you how we compare to other school districts in the area. And you'll see there's two different GISD lines. One is a yellow line, and that's the current rate here in Gatesville, which is the 23-24 school year, and all these other schools are showing you what the rates are this year. So we don't have rates for the schools for next year yet. Our proposed rates are going to be in the orange, which is just a little above the yellow. So it shows you, like breakfast elementary, we're kind of in the middle of the pack. All the others are going to have to go up too. So we'll probably still be in the middle of the pack once everybody increases their rates. Lunch elementary prices is down in the lower category. So we've given you those comparisons with the school districts. And the other thing is an information item only, which is pretty major. And that is the CEP program, which stands for Community Eligibility Provision of the school lunch program. This is where if a certain campus at a certain level in terms of the socioeconomic, they may qualify for free and reduced. So we've had the primary campus set up free for a few years, and they have a very high rate of participation at the primary campus. So we look at it each year, and at this point, elementary campus qualifies. That's 3 grade levels right there. And So we're decided to go ahead and embark on that and give the elementary campus the same perk that the primary campus has. So that'll be, 3 grade levels in addition to your primary levels. So that'll be good. How much is it going to cost? It's really kind of up in the air. We're not sure too much because it depends on what the participation does. So with a 10% increase in participation, which is what we would expect at least, the cost will be about $48,000. In other words, the cost the school district would absorb. So this is actually part of our plan to reduce down the fund balance that we've accumulated in Fund 240. And we can get out of it if we change our minds and if it gets to be too expensive. We're not like committed to it, but I think it's going to be okay. And I think it's going to be a good thing for our parents and the children in the elementary school. And I think we'll be pleasantly surprised at how low the loss will be to our school district. And like I say, we do have to spend down that fund balance, which is pretty substantial at this point in Fund 240. So that's going to go into effect right away for the school year for the elementary grades.
So K through and the elementary, they're all free meals?
All free meals.
Okay.
Primary, so there'll be 2 campuses. We'll keep a watch on it, like intermediate. But you have to actually qualify to be considered. And then even then, there's possible loss on our part as a school district.
Breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch. And that's been advertised on Facebook, I believe, for the school district.
Yeah, very positive reception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even some of our staff that have kids at elementary, they said, "Well, that's a huge load off." Because so I think the participation will go up because it's a free meal.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
my
I'll
favorite
need,
nation, donation.
The board action to approve the 10-cent raise in student meal prices, please.
Do I have a motion that we accept this proposal? Mary Ann? Do I hear a second? Okay, Linda? Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, now budget workshop.
The fun stuff.
We're all here for that, we're excited.
Do I have 15 minutes for this?
Yeah.
All right.
Where are you going, Calvin?
I'm actually taking my nephew to
Okay.
teacher.
Bless you.
Who's race team?
All right, so the 24-25 operating budget that we discussed back in the June meeting has not really changed at all, really. And so I'm giving you version 2, draft number 2 of the budget. And it's this right here, this page. It tells you the revenues are still projected to be at 35 million, and the expenses at 34.6, which at this point will provide us with a profit of 419,000, split between 3 different funds. The INS fund is anticipated to gain 263,000, and the food child nutrition is expected to net out 112, could be less than that. If the cost of providing free meals to the elementary school is padded into that. The general fund is still manages a slight gain, 42. That's pretty tenuous, and I'll explain that in a minute. The INS fund, the gain of 263, that's after a $500,000 payment that we're projecting to make next February. That's on the bond principal. We feel like our fund balance is going to be healthy enough in the INS fund. We had discussed this with our bond counsel, Brian, and it's pretty costly really to do those rollovers on those bond funds. They do. And they try to talk you into it, but it's a lot of money. I think we'll do better by just ourselves budgeting a one-time payment in February of each year in terms of what we can afford. And so our first expectation would be a $500,000 bond principal payment next February, over and above what our regular bond payments are. And that's built into our new budget.
Where does the district stand as far as getting some of our loans paid off?
The loans, I think that's actually in that,
Daryl's, while Daryl's looking it up, the elementary's on 2 big notes, and one of them will get paid off, I think, in 26, I believe.
Okay. 2 years.
yeah, that's actually a note of disclosure on the first page of that public notice that y'all approved earlier tonight.
How many?
It's at the bottom of page 1. The total bonded indebtedness will be $17,500,000 for all 3 bonds.
So the most recent one was the
How many notes do we have?
3.
3.
High school, and then the elementary was on 2.
Okay.
May I ask why were they on 2?
That was a little bit before my time. I hadn't gotten here yet. Why did,
Almost.
do y'all
15,
remember? Yeah.
14, 15.
Why did y'all put it on 2, Daryl? Better rates doing it that way?
Yeah, I mean, they were both under 10 million.
Yeah.
You have better rates.
Yeah.
when
You
do
got,
that.
yeah, you got a break by doing it on
Yes, we
2.
did.
Yeah.
It seems like that was the thing.
Anywho, back to, so the proposed budget still showing a gain for 24-25. And what I have included in your packets, actually these are handouts. Do you have the handouts? Okay, it's a separate handout like that. Yes, very good. So after that initial page, summary page, you have 2 pages of district revenues. One is the overall revenue at 35 million that we're approving, not fully approved until we all approve it at the end of the month. The other sheet shows you the breakdown of revenues on the Fund 199, which is the school's general fund. Most of the revenues are in Fund 199. Now there's a couple items here that are a little bit iffy. Medicaid, we brought that income for the budget down to $300,000, and it still may be partly in jeopardy. They're still tweaking things that they're going to cover and things they're not going to cover. So it's possible we might lose another $50,000 off of this. I don't know. Someday it may just completely go away. That's your SHARS Medicaid. The other one would be your interest earnings. We have $850,000 in the budget for the general fund on interest earnings. And probably we're going to be expecting a rate decrease at the September meeting of the feds. They were thinking about doing it this time, but pretty sure they're going to do it next time. So the rates may start to come back down. Which means our interest earnings will come down some. So that 850 is probably the maximum that we can anticipate receiving on the interest income. The rest of it is, pretty secure. So those are the 2 items I thought bring to your attention, and they might be an adjustment sometime during the year on those revenue items.
The stock market took a beating yesterday, and the Fed was taking a lot of heat for not having already done something.
All right, the next sheet shows district appropriations, and this one's at $34,622,000. This has a column that's, a lot of them are highlighted in blue. This is pretty close to what we presented to you in June. We had a couple of adjustments. One is the property Insurance has gone up again. And we'll probably have to put this out to bid next year is what I'm thinking. These increases are just too much.
They used Hurricane Beryl as an excuse to raise it even more.
That, so reflective in these numbers, the numbers I gave you in June, will be higher insurance rates. And that's primarily the maintenance department, because that's where the property taxes, the property insurance resides. We did add 10,000 in capital outlays on line 17. This is based on the new copiers that we want to get for this coming year. And that decision will be made pretty soon. So that went from 60 to 70. But the rest of these numbers are pretty similar to what I presented to you back in June. The HR numbers on line 1, that's the big number, of course. And we have what we call PMIS program. That's part of a center. And our folks are still working on those numbers. And they're not quite ready. It's a lot of detail that they have to input. So that's mostly Joyce Blanchard and Mackenzie Newman that are working on that. And they assure me that maybe by the end of next week, you'll have those numbers. At that point, we'll have all these HR numbers in a sender, and we'll be able to run you the reports out of a sender. And I just hope and pray that the final number is going to be real close to what we have here. That's what we're projecting. But until they punch that button and get all the personnel in there and get everything accounted for, and then you can see what the bottom line looks like. Okay? So, but you'll know by the next time we bring this to you. So we'll bring this back to you on the 27th of August for final approval of the budget. Do you have any questions about any of the budgetary items? I'll go as deep as you want me to go.
Where did you say that insurance, or what was that first thing you were talking about that went up so much? Didn't you say
Property
insurance?
casualty insurance.
Yeah.
Property
Is that
casualty?
under, what's that under?
That's going to be under maintenance.
Okay, maintenance 16.
Yeah.
Maintenance has
Yeah, we have to write a lump sum check of $559,000, and in return, you get peace of mind.
What
Okay.
what is
All right.
fund
I hope we
balance
don't need it.
uncommitted? How much money do we have that's uncommitted?
About 10, 11 million.
10 million? Good.
I have a question about the, like just the athletics. We added money to them over last year's budget, but then we cut, like we added there almost 32,000, but then you cut 5,000 out of district security. What,
Are you talking about district security or athletics?
the district security is down by 4885. Am I reading that right?
Are you talking about the 40,000
Yes.
on line 20?
On line 20. It's 11% lower than last year's budget. I'm just curious what,
Lloyd, we
why
had
we
more.
cut the security, but we give the extra 30,000 to that lady.
We had more startup costs when we created the police department, where they had to buy some really expensive radios, guns, handcuffs. That was a very expensive startup. And so they don't need that much each year.
Okay.
But
we're
we still,
taking care of what they,
Yes.
I mean, we're
And
not
in fact-
telling them, you can't have that
No.
because we need to
And we just made them-
Vehicles in
buy
there
new
too.
shoulder
well,
pads.
and we just made two big purchases for the police. We got their 4th and 5th police car. So now they each have a police car that will be labeled and all that. So, yeah, we've taken care of the police.
So the approved budget is 40,865, which actually is very close to the original budget for 23-24 of 45.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So the startup cost would have been the prior year, 22-23, where the budget was 85. The other thing is that we're getting a grant, safety grant, we'll be able to allocate about 150,000 of the SRO salaries to that. But that would be up in here in resources.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm new to all of this. I just.
And you want something about athletics you need to know?
Do it? No, sir. No. I just
Brother Harvey's athletics.
want to make sure we're taking care of the security.
We're taking care of
We're
security.
gonna give the police shoulder pads.
Yeah. There you
They'll be protected.
go. There's a lot,
Yeah.
a lot going on in the world today, and you know, every small school thinks, "Ah, it's not going to happen here," but it does happen in small schools, and there's, I mean, it's real all over the world, and it may not happen here. I pray to God it doesn't, but I don't want to just sit around and
Yeah.
You want to be ready.
Those five do a good job. They train constantly.
yeah. That's one.
They went to a lot of stuff this summer.
No, that's a good question.
Thank you.
What else? What else catches your fancy?
Is this it for you last month?
Huh?
Is this the last month for you?
This is my last month.
I know, I'm saying that because it's gonna be sad, because I'm miss picking
It's
it.
gonna be sad,
Yeah.
almost as sad as me losing a 30-year-old bird today.
Yeah.
Oh.
Chandler.
You did.
30-year-old.
30?
His bird,
30.
30. He was 30 years old. His name was Chandler, named after the guy on Friends.
Yeah, Chandler.
Was it a minor bird?
Cockatoo.
Cockatiel.
Cockatoo.
Really?
Oh.
Did he travel back and forth with you?
He mostly sang.
No.
Did you
Yes,
say
he did.
talk?
Yes,
Okay.
He was
I said, did he come back and forth with you to your homes, like to your different?
Yeah, he's
places?
traveled everywhere we've
So
gone.
he goes everywhere.
Oh.
And he whistles the Andy Griffith theme song.
Aw.
Yeah, he knows that by heart.
That was cool when Daryl told me that. I was like, that's neat.
That's so sad.
Was it in, did they live, did he live longer than?
I think it's
Others, or-
kind of pretty much the top end of their life expectancy.
Yeah.
I have been reading horror stories all over the state about schools who are in dire straits with their budget. And I just want to compliment you on coming to us with a nice balance in the millions to rely on. And we're very, very proud of the work that you've done over the years.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Daryl's going out with,
Barrett.
Daryl wanted to go out with a bang, and he did. He wanted to have a good balanced budget where, I mean, the stats on the other districts are terrible. I've read about hiring freezes,
Oh, it's horrible.
deficit budgets, and so Daryl did good.
That's
Very good.
Barrett's leadership. Thank you, Barrett. He has to do this. I may, elbow him on things. He has to agree. But it was important to me to finish off my career with you with a balanced budget.
We're gonna
So
miss
many
you.
districts going the other
We're
way.
gonna miss you, especially me. I'm gonna tell you.
It's been comforting always knowing that you have our district's best
And I do.
efforts
I
in your
really
mind.
do. I'm proud of this little district.
And my dad definitely gonna miss you. He's remember all the ties you gave him. So.
Does he want some more ties?
No, I'm just saying. I know he just said you should give him. He just love your ties. I don't know.
What's it,
Good
Jason?
ties,
Calvin?
Not ties. Car parts.
Car parts.
I tried to convince him to come your last day, and he said, "I wasn't invited."
So I think, I guess,
When they have that party.
an action item approval.
All right, we have a motion
This tentative
before us
budget.
to approve the budget. Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Calvin, do I hear a second? Lloyd, any further discussion?
When is your? I just when is your party?
The day before he leaves,
What day is that?
the Thursday, the 29th. So Friday the
what is the
30th
problem?
is his last day
So Thursday.
in
Sorry
here,
if it was a surprise.
4 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
She said, what if it's a surprise?
No,
Not
no. We
anymore.
want to make sure Daryl, Lana, everybody was here. So,
This is
yeah.
good.
All right, all in
I
favor?
already knew it was a surprise.
The budget passed.
Thank you. Chandler just said he didn't want another move. That's
Yeah,
why.
that's right. Poor Chandler.
He said I've moved all over the country with you.
I was gonna ask you, I don't have anything for executive session. If
Does
y'all,
anybody want to go into executive session for any reason? All right, the meeting's adjourned. Okay.
Thank you, board.
Thank you, Daryl.
Appreciate it.